Max Jolliffe, if you don't know, is an ultra runner. He's a pretty big inspiration for me. When I first saw his King of Moab documentary, it just like really hit hard for me. And Badwater, if you don't know, like temps are said to get up to like 130. So heat training is like completely crucial. And you get quite a bit of elevation gain. He's very creative with his approach to just problem solving and racing. And I think that is one thing people can underestimate. You go over your running and have all of that working for you. But a lot of people don't think about little simple things like what your gear is during a race. And I think Max is really creative with that.
I pre-froze 50 soft flasks with my electrolyte concentration, which funny enough, I got a sweat test the day before the race. My sodium concentration in the last 2 years since the last time I got one had gone down like 25%. I froze all my bottles and I was holding these frozen bottles in my hand, which was cooling my core temperature, being able to dump heat from my palms, which is one of the best places to cool your body. I mean, even if you can just put your hands in cold ice water or your arms, that's a great way to dump some of that core temperature, especially when you start to get hotter and it starts to build up in your.
I mean, just pretty brilliant. I mean, Badwater, the whole concept of the race is this is supposed to be the hottest race ever for him to like think the way he's thinking through all of this. And who knows if that was him or his coach Jack Kinzel. The way that I've started seeing marathons is it is a puzzle. And I think that's why I'm so obsessed with marathons now is I want to figure it out. I don't want to just like do one or two or three marathons and be like, I've like hit my ceiling. I want to think there's layer and layer and layer of just like crap that I can like scrape away and figure out how to do this better. Obviously, running itself and strength training can do a lot for you in prepping for a marathon. But like, what gear should you use? How do you negative split in a marathon? I'll probably never know what that's like, but who knows? Another thing that I thought was kind of cool was just hearing him talk about Carmen and the other guy that are in front of him, 30 miles, 20 miles left in the race, and his legs just like killing. And him being able to like muster up this, like, I'm going for it. I'm going to pass them. And his coach saying, like, you're on pace to pass them. And just his like belief in that, just that he kept at it, man. Like, just like with Moab 240, he wasn't like listening to what his body's telling him. And Caleb Norman, my friend Caleb Norman, in my Suffering Well, episode, talked about that. Like your body can start to really tell you, we're done here. And you can believe that or you can not. And there is like it is kind of cool that like your mind and your body are really two separate things. Like your body's going to start telling you because of like evolution. It's like trying to survive. So it's saying, we've given up. You're supposed to be done here. And you can keep pushing. Like it's wild what you can do if you just choose no.
Then by that point, around mile 100, it's me and Carmen, which I thought in my head, I mean, I didn't know for sure, but I thought me and Carmen were one. I thought she was first and I was in second, but there was actually Tomas, which was a guy he was so far out ahead of everyone. I think at one point he was 40 minutes ahead of me. Like Chris in the race, like didn't even know he was up there. Like they were posting on Instagram, oh, these are the leaders, Max and Carmen. But there was another guy that was so far ahead of us, like, that road, it's so straight, you
Yeah,
just as
it's
far as the eye can see.
see.
I
Yeah.
I never saw him. I didn't even see another vehicle. Like, I legit had no idea until, Billy and Mackenzie were like, "Hey, there's another guy up in front, but you're making time on him, and you're gonna catch him." Jack was doing calculations of the splits and how fast I was moving and the pace that I was moving, and he was like, "Max will eventually catch this guy." So by this point, I'm hurting bad. My legs hurt super bad. It's getting hot. My temperature sensor on my foot, I see it's reading 120 degrees. So by this point, it's 3 or 4 in the afternoon. It's getting time again. So I was eventually on that flat down, kind of somewhat downhill. It's flat. On that section, I was able to just maintain and stay with Carmen until we got about 5 miles from the 395. And they were like, "Hey, Tomas is 15 minutes ahead of you. If you just keep pushing, like, don't let up, just keep pushing, you will catch him." And I was like, in my head thinking like, I don't know if I can hold this pace for like for much longer. Like, I didn't know, am I going to have any juice left in my legs on this final climb? Like, I know I've been climbing really well, but I just like didn't know if I had it in me. And it was like the hardest I've ever pushed in any race. It's just the effort is so sustained. There's no breaks. And during the first climb, I made a promise to myself. I was like, I'm going to run every single step of this race, other than stopping to change shoes and deal with foot
Right.
stuff. But I was like, if I'm moving, I'm going to run every single step of this race. That's exactly what I did. And then just before the 395, I ended up passing Carmen, made the right, and headed into town. And still no sight of Tomas. I run through town and then make the left on the Whitney Portal Road. As soon as I start that climb, it was like maybe a mile or two into that climb, I saw him up in the distance. And that was the first time I saw Tomas other than the start. I didn't see him for 125 miles. And I didn't know. I'm like, is he conserving his energy to like go all out on this final climb? Am I going to be able to catch up to him? Am I going to be able to hang with him? If I pass him, is he just going to keep up with me and then pass me? But yeah, when I saw him, he was walking.
You start telling yourself, I mean, is he gonna have more juice than me on this final climb? And it's like, well, and obviously, like, this doesn't perfectly translate to my marathon because I'm not looking at other racers. Like, it's just me and the pavement and my watch. That's like, I'm not racing a person. I still can take away just like that whole mental battle of just like your mind trying to like defeat you. Almost like your mind. Sometimes I feel like my mind has like a gun and it's trying to like shoot me down. With Max, like when he's telling himself, like, I don't know if Tomas has more juice in his legs than me and he's going to be able to do this final climb better than me. If I'm 15 minutes back from him and he's more successful at these climbs than I am, I'm just going to keep getting further and further back. But he chooses to listen to like what Jack and Mackenzie and Billy are telling him. Like, no, you are a better climber than he is. Keep doing what you're doing. Just put your head down and do the work. And then Sally, she talks about how easy it is in the middle of a race to just tell yourself, you know what? Like, my goal was that. But, like, whatever. Matt Hedgepeth, he always calls it, like, your goal, your A goal, your B goal, your C goal, which I think is great. But, like, in the middle of a race, you start telling yourself, the A goal was, like, we're not going to do that. So, like, let's just start looking at B. Like, goal B. Can we not do goal A? Like, are we maybe telling ourselves too early or whatever? That's unachievable. If we would stop listening to all of this nonsense and just go and like fight. Goal A might be there. Let's just get to the finish line and then we'll look at goal B. Like,
Never give up. I think that's something that is pretty natural for humans. Like when we have a lot of things not go our way, or when things have been challenging or they hurt for a long time, it is easy to think less of ourselves. It's easy to downgrade our goals. And it's even easy in the middle of the race to be like, you know what? I'm just happy to be out here. You easily could have been like, you know what? I'm just stoked. Like, I'll be stoked if I can do sub 24 hours. Like, you
Yeah.
could have said that, and that's still an amazing race.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have been like, you know what? I'll be like, if I get top 3, like, amazing, which is absolutely mind blowing amazing, especially your first time Badwater. But I think there's something to be said about how you were always checking in, being like, "I think I can do this." You
Yeah.
know what? I'm my legs are screaming at me. I'm in so much pain, but I think I can push a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like,
I love how Sally puts that as like you downgrade your goal. That's been such a mistake for me in marathons is like I get to that point, mile 20, where I'm just like, This pain is insurmountable. I get to this point where I'm like mentally defeated, and the pain feels, why the crap am I putting myself through this? And that's when you start downgrading your goals rather than, I know exactly why I'm doing this, and I've told myself a million times why I'm doing this. I know the answer to that question. I've answered this question many times. In training, at night when I'm trying to fall asleep, I've obsessed about this race. Why now that I'm in this much pain am I questioning all of that? Your answers to the questions maybe have to be stronger, deeply embedded in your everything.
The grass still grows, and I still weed whack it